Hey guys, it's Pat from Pat's Brewery, and today we are brewing a Red Rye IPA. That's right, so brew today is a Red Rye IPA. The brew day today isn't completely unplanned, but I've not really been able to put in as much time to the arrangement of the brewery before starting this brew day, so there's quite a bit of kind of cleaning as we go. So we're heating the HLT up at the moment. The kettle still had some star sand in it from the last brew, so just so that from falling out of the clean, so just got rid of that. We also need to actually empty this fermenter. That's got the Belgian blonde in there, so we need to get that into a keg because we're going to be using that fermenter for the brew today. So we're going to be cleaning that. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a hectic one, but I say getting the water heated at the moment, just about to put the grains in, and then we'll start measuring out things like water additions and stuff like that. So one of the things that I have done for this beer to make the life a little bit easier is I've used the Malt Miller create your own recipe tool, just so that I've got the exact amount of grains of what we're after. So just to go through this, in this bag we have 400 grams of Best Malts Red X. Obviously that's contributing the majority of the red aspect to our Rainbow Red. So let's pop that in there, and then we have here 150 grams of Cara Red, 150 grams of Crystal Rye, 300 grams of Malted Rye, and 1,500 grams of extra pale malt. That extra pale malt just there to top up a little bit of the ABV. So for this beer we are looking at around about a 6.4% beer, so should be quite nice. Let's get the grains in. Okay, it is now time to mash in. We are mashing in 20 litres at 72 degrees. Just, I know it says 74 there, but there is a difference. Gonna be, yeah, that's on. So we're going from 20 litres, goes down to there. We'll then top that up with a bit more water, so we don't have any issues with sparging. But let's get going. I think while we're waiting for that to fill, let's add our magical white powder. Oh, that sounds like it might be filling a little bit quick. Oh no, that's actually currently kegging at the same time. So, magic powder. Okay, so we've got 20 litres in there. We're hitting about 65.5, 65.4, right in the middle normally where it's the hottest, 65.8. Let's give it a bit more of a stir, and that normally brings it down. And let's that. Cooling from the external part of the mash tun get all the way through. Something I would say is that something that's meant to be red, I'm not seeing too much red in colouring just yet. I'm wondering when that kind of comes about. Right, hitting 65.5. That's about as good as I normally get. So I've just topped the kettle back up to about 25 litres, just an extra 5 litres in there. We're going to be sparging with about 13 to 15 litres of water, so that obviously takes us down to here, which just makes it a little bit easier and guarantees that we're able to get any of the water off of the HLT. We do have a dip tube on there, but that's it. A little bit of marking on there really does show that, I think I said before, that's still brass, so that's looking a little bit worse for wear. I do probably need to update my HLT at some point. It's a little bit beaten up, but so we've just got that recirculating. I also have increased the temp for the HLT by about 5 degrees, so we're looking at about I think it was at 72 when we mashed in, so our sparge temp's going to be about 77 roughly, just to get all of that heat right the way through as we sparge. Right, while we're waiting, we are still kegging, so that's coming down quite nicely. Got a nice closed circuit going. It's all very noisy in here because my cooler is still trying to cool that. I could probably turn that off now actually. The oatmeal stout seems to be doing okay. I had a little sample of that the other day. It's quite nice, quite happy with that. We need to do a bit of a tidy up though. Got everything everywhere all at once. So while we're waiting on the mash, I've weighed out our hops for the boil. We have got 40 grams of Challenger going in at the 60-minute mark. That will give us about 24 IBUs. Then when we've got 10 minutes remaining, we have got Citra, Mosaic and Simcoe, 15 grams of each of those. And then for our aroma or hop stand, we are going with, again, Citra, Mosaic and Simcoe, 10 grams of each of those. So between all of this, so I'd say that's about 24 IBUs. That comes to just short of 30, and there's about 4 or 5 IBUs in the aroma. So we're kicking it just short of 60 IBUs, which should be in a good position for the overall IBUs for an IPA. Version 2 in the future, we may swap these around, but for the time being, 15 of each, 10 of each. Okay, so we're now up to the part that I hate the most about brewing, because I always get it wrong, and that is the sparging. So we've got a nice slow transfer on this side. We are just going to let the mash drop a little bit before we start the sparge. Again, got to try and get it so that it's a nice and even flow, but getting these things lined up can be a bit of a nightmare. So we have reached our boil. Going to add 60-minute addition. Was it 30 or 40 grams of Challenger, something like that. So while we're waiting for the next hop addition, waiting for the next hop addition into the boil, we've just been cleaning out the mash tun, so emptying that into my garden waste bin. Try and get that done during the brew day now as much as possible, just so that it saves a little bit of time. At the moment what we're doing is just rinsing through with water, kind of wiping away. With regards to my cleaning regimen for my mash tun, I don't go too crazy, to be honest. What I'll do is get all of the bits out, wipe round with a cloth, make sure it's all visually clean. Then quite often I'll just spray over with a bit of Star San to make sure that there's no bacteria that's going to grow over the time period until the next brew. Kind of a little bit of a mist, a Star San, not a huge amount. But one of the main things is to kind of let the mash tun breathe, so it doesn't generate any mould. Very rarely do I, or maybe once in every 4 brews will I do a sodium bicarbonate rinse in here. But yeah, just in case you guys wondering what my cleaning on my mash tub regimen is. Now time for our 10-minute addition. And now it is time for our whirlpool. Shows how looking through your phone is not the best way of doing that. Another spin. Right, we're recirculating still. Going to cover over with the lid and let that ride for about 30 minutes. Okay, so our hop stand is up. We are currently cooling down. So overall temperature is around 64 in there. The ambient temperature is around 21. Feels a hell of a lot hotter today. So at the moment, if I get that on there, here we are. At the moment we are circulating at around 35-ish, 36 maybe. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait until that gets down to about 30. Then we're going to transfer over to the fermenter, which is all clean and sorted now. And then we're going to let the glycol chiller get it down to 18 degrees before we pitch. And just for those of you that haven't seen the transfer before, we are going from our kettle to the pump, into the plate chiller, out of the plate chiller, and into the gas out of the fermenter. That way we get plenty of drop, creating aeration for the yeast to feed off of when it starts. Right, so we are still a little bit high, but I think it should be okay for adding the yeast. Now we're using USO 5. Although it won't be shown on camera, I am sanitising the packet and the scissors. There we go. Ended up getting a fair bit on the actual cooler. Half tempted. Yeah, go on. Right, because of that, balls up. I'm gonna pitch another packet just to be safe. And dry hop 3 days prior to kegging. That was 20 grams of Citra, 20 grams of Mosaic, and 20 grams of Simcoe. We should be getting an IBUs of around 60, 64. I didn't write that down, but it was around that. With regards to our starting gravity, we was aiming for 1060 and we got 1058. 2 points, not too shabby, I'll take that. Final gravity, 1011 was the expected. We got it down to 1010, so it makes up that point. So we was looking for an ABV of 6.4, we got 6.3. Overall, that is pretty damn close. Quite happy with that. Let's get this poured, because it is an IPA. I think it's going to need a little bit of smelling, so a good smelling glass needed. Let's see how this goes. So this is our first of our darker beers in the lineup. Obviously we've already seen the darkest beer, that video released today actually, but this is, when I say the first, I mean that first in the lineup of our light to darks. Now, with regards to colour, yeah, we're a little bit darker than, it's not as red as I'd hoped, but I think that's still pretty good. I forgot to bring my light in with me today, but I dare say that if I shone a little light through that, it would show as a fairly red beer. I mean, especially down at this point here, where the light has less liquid to get through. It's pretty red. I'm pretty happy with that, actually. That's very aromatic with the old smells there, even through the head, so that's always nice. Head, not bad consistency. Some of the bubbles are a little bit bigger than others, but not bad at all. Yeah, I think that's a good IPA. That is, I mean, you can't beat Citra, Mosaic and Simcoe. Well, maybe you can, because I love a bit of Amarillo, so maybe why don't I switch out the, why switch anything out, just throw more in. That isn't that the key to a good IPA, you just throw more in with regards to your hops. No, I'm only joking, that's a terrible recipe building. So, with regards to this one, getting all your citrus flavours. I'm not getting too much on specifically the grapefruit. I know that that's the one that everyone calls out, grapefruit, but I'm not getting that much on like specifically that. It's more an overall citrus piece. I think the bitterness on that is really nice. Kind of gives it the right level of kick to, you know, balance out the alcohol there. Nice, that's spot on. I mean, with regards to clarity, no, there's not much clarity there. But again, when you start getting onto these slightly darker beers, clarity's not the thing that you're really screaming out about. But okay, we've lost the head a little bit. Not taking that long to lose it, but lacing the glass smells great. I'm actually in the middle of a brew day right now, so if I'm rushing this, that's why I thought I'd squeeze this little bit in, because sneaking a little bit mid brew day, why not? So if I do include the brew day footage, tell me what you guys think about having more brew day footage in my videos, because I know I've been doing a lot of the format where we've not included the brew day footage really, and we've just been talking about it, but you know what, I do think that I've not brewed that many high IBU beers. Not that this is particularly high, you know, 60 is about right for an IPA, but normally, I think I've said in the past, I like to stick around the 30, 32 mark, but you can't knock it, really. It's still spot on. It's a really hot day today, and good. The Keezer's keeping its cool. So, just while we're going for it, let's have a little look up close. That's what we're looking at. Maybe a little bit more amber than red, but I think from a first attempt at a red, technically it's not my first attempt at a red beer. I tried to do a Irish red when I first started all grain. Screwed that up so badly. But I think I mentioned in the past that about that and how it was the use of black malts, which I should have just done for the last like 20 minutes of the mash, but I stuck them right in at the beginning and it ended up just looking more like a stout. It was nice though, but yeah, wasn't quite right. Anyway, this one I'm relatively happy with. It's not as purely red as it could be. I think I have to go back and watch some of Big Banana's videos because he's the master of red beers. He seems to do them quite a bit, and yeah. But in any case, I better get back to my own brew day. This is really nice. I bet you've been waiting, and because you know we've been introducing labels and stuff recently. Again, tell me what you think of the labels and bits and pieces. The ones that you've seen so far, I did. The one that you're going to see today, a friend of mine done, who's much better at art and bits and pieces than me. So this one is called Red Horse Rainbow Rye. Red because, obviously, it's trying to be red beer. And rye because it is a rye beer, and the bit in the middle of Red Horse Rainbow Rye, well, that actually comes from inspired by a song from a band called Clutch, and yeah, that's where it is. Here's the label. So let us know what you're thinking about also me introducing labels and bits and pieces. Not every beer is going to get a label. It's only because it's for Pattoberfest and we're actually going to be getting the labels printed up for the beers, so that when people say, what we're drinking, we can identify it easily enough. Anyway, I've been Pat from Pat's Brewery, drinking the Red Horse Rainbow Rye, a red rye IPA. Cheers.